everybody, another mailbag. I've got guests with me today. Always much better than having to listen to me for an hour. Thunder Dan and Noah Rubin will be joining me. Welcome to Stuff It, a fantasy basketball podcast brought to you as always by FanDuel and part of the Old Man Squad. Please subscribe if you haven't already done so and download the audio versions of this show. Let's bring the two gentlemen in and let's unmute them. Be better to hear from them, I think, than actually just watch them talk on a screen. Noah, just finished the Roto World show, so the trooper that you are, good to have you back on the show. How's things? How's life? How's the new edition? How's the coffee? How's the lack of sleep?
It's first of all, the new edition has been a blessing. So it's been a great, I think 11 days now. Doesn't feel like 11 days. I don't know if it feels more like 11 weeks or like 11 hours. I don't know. It's just all running together. But yeah, trying to get as much sleep as I can, drinking as much coffee as I can, but excited to be back here talking with you guys. Always fun. And yeah, I'd rather be able to, I love just looking at Thunder Dan's face, but I'd love to hear from him as well. I agree.
Listen, I remember those days well when my girls were younger. And I will tell you this, when you're up at 2-3 in the morning, it's a great time to pour over NBA box scores and look at all
it has been.
Go pick up some guys off the wire. It's honestly, I remember getting through those days doing that kind of stuff too. So congrats and,
thank you.
Enjoy it. I know you do an awesome job. You'll be, all you got to do is be there, man. Just keep showing up. So keep happy to be here, guys. Stoked to talk to some hoops. Let's do it.
Yeah, actually, I wish I wasn't playing fantasy basketball when my kids were born. So I wish I was, because it would have given me something to do at that time in the middle of the night, because the middle of the night for us is obviously early morning for you guys. So there would have been stuff happening. Sadly though, I wasn't into fantasy basketball then. So that shows my age, I think, more than anything.
Some of the times I've been like getting up and checking, see if I can update my lineups or whatever. And it still hasn't updated from the previous day's games. So I'm like, okay, I'll go to bed for 3 or 4 hours, and then next time I'll make the roster move or whatever. So it's, yeah.
All right. Here's one from Chad now. And I did catch this one on your show with Raf, carrying this one over from Noah's previous Q&A. You discussed how bad of a situation the Clippers and the league may be in with OKC owning their pick. So yes, I don't know all the stipulations on these picks. You probably do, Noah. Dan, you probably do as well. Is this a protected pick? This that OKC have, or it's just a pick?
No. So there are some stipulations. They get the 2 best first round picks between the Thunder, Clippers, and Rockets, and then Washington gets the worst. So the Wizards will get pick 30 from the Thunder, and then the Clippers will get the Rocket, or the Thunder will get the Clippers and Rockets picks. So yeah, it's going to be really scary. If not actually scary, but the Thunder are already going to be a dynasty for the next years. And if you're just adding in one of these guys, that probably extends that window and makes them even more dangerous. Darren Peterson, Cam Boozer, these guys should be playing heavy rotation minutes next year. But if they're on the Thunder, they might come off the bench. And they just have these generational talents coming off the bench. So yeah, it's going to be really scary if the Thunder, get a top 5 pick in general, but getting a top 3 pick, it's not going to be fun.
And here's what you really have to think about. It's not just the pick, because maybe they don't even want to pick anybody in top 5. This is just the fact that they have that ability to trade that pick in the offseason and go pick up another piece for if they want to go, pick up another rotational player for, the next 3 or 4 years, and continue to just win now too. It's just more ammunition for their war chest of picks and players. And it's really is I don't think we've seen anything like this really in modern NBA in terms of a team having this many assets right now,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's I guess the pressure is on the Clippers, isn't it, to turn things around and start winning.
29 teams are begging them to win basketball.
They are.
Yeah, right.
Should I trade Bane and DeJounte Murray for LaMelo Ball in a points league?
I'll jump in because I was a big
you jump
Bane
in,
guy.
yeah.
I touted Bane a lot this offseason, and then the first few weeks I was like, God, what a terrible mistake. But it's been pretty good lately, and I know a lot of that has to do with Paolo being out. I don't think I would do that. I mean, I think LaMelo is just LaMelo, and he's still got the huge injury risk, and Bane's been pretty good, and DeJounte's a nice little piece to have a hold on to for when he comes back. I'm out on LaMelo just in general, so I'm probably happy with what Bane's doing and not taking that big risk on LaMelo.
I'd be pretty surprised if DeJounte Murray played this season. They don't have their pick, but there's no reason to force him out there if he's not 110% healthy. So to me, this is Bane for LaMelo, and I still don't feel like I would do it. I think I'd rather have Bane. LaMelo just in and out of the lineup hasn't been great this year. So I think I feel better about Bane, and I'm just hoping and assuming that they're going to say, hey, Paolo, you see how good this guy is? You see what he's doing, right? Okay, so when you're back out there, we need to make sure that this guy is getting the ball, getting his shots. Like, we can be really, really good as a team if you make that happen, because you can do so much with the ball in your hands. So hopefully, maybe I'm being too optimistic. I don't know.
Another one from Chad is Topic a sell if you can get value from an owner who believes the hype, because he's likely looking at 2 lost seasons. So, I mean, a dynasty question, obviously. Would you be looking to move off Topic with it's not an injury necessarily, but it's with the medical news and the fact that he could miss extended time?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I haven't really thought about him too much, like in the sense that, should I move him? Should I keep him? I have him in 1, maybe 2 leagues, and I'm just holding on to him because I still think he is really good. But he may not stay with OKC. Maybe he does.
Right.
It's just too much unknown right now, and I'm pretty sure that if you're trying to trade him somewhere else, everyone else is going to have the same thought process of there's just too much unknown. I don't think I'd really want to trade too much for him. So you can try, but I wouldn't be super optimistic about it, and it may just end up being worth it to just hold out and see, hey, maybe it takes a couple of seasons, but this guy's able to be really good.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. All right. So Shining Knight regular. For the big man build, is it worth dropping Keyshawn George for a steals specialist if that is your weak category? Ryan or Chris Dunn, Alex Caruso, TJ McConnell. I get this. I get the concern about Keyshawn. He's been a little bit down, obviously, after that red hot start. I think he's dealing with a new injury, a toe. He's questionable with a toe injury for tonight's games. So I get the concern, and I'm trying not to move off of him. I've picked up sort of streamed in Chris Dunn, and he does nothing, and then I drop him and he gets 4 steals. It always seems to be the way. Caruso, I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him. He seems to have a new injury or something every week. McConnell's interesting, but he also is dealing with some stuff. He only played 6 minutes, I think, yesterday because of, they said he was just sore. Hopefully that is the case. I'd be holding Keyshawn George personally. Any kickback from either of you guys?
I agree. I just think there's too much upside there, especially later in the year. If there's a CJ McCollum trade, or if there's just anything they shake up that lineup and kind of give him more of the keys to the offense, he just has so much upside in 9-cat. And I know he's struggling right now, but I just think what we've seen from him is really good when he's on. So kind of just have to hang on, and none of those guys in that he mentioned are really are worth it in terms of just for streamers.
Yeah, I'm hanging on to Keyshawn George.
All right. Is Rob Williams a must roster for a 14 team with the 4 punt build? Do I lose 3 games played this week to pick him up? Drop Brandon Williams, I suppose that is.
Gosh, I already forgot about who his guy is. He gets moved to the bench, he just forgets who he is. Crazy.
Wow.
Till Sunday to pick him up. Is Rob Williams must roster in that build? Skill set, yes. But he misses too many games. For me, I think I'd be okay dropping Bagley, though, if you want to. Because, Bagley was good last night, but that was because Alex Sarr was out. And I don't think the Sarr injury is anything serious, unless there's been an update while I was asleep, but I can't see anything. So, yeah, I'd be okay dropping Bagley if you want to take a chance on Rob Williams. Brandon Williams is a tricky one with what's gone down in the last, 3-4 days, I suppose.
Yeah.
Are either of you guys targeting Rob Williams? And this is that specific build where you're punting points, threes, assists, and free throw percentage.
I mean, I wrote him up this week as a streamer just because it's a 4-game week and we had some, injury with Klingon. We don't know if Klingon's going to play, right? Questionable tonight. So I think he's got some streamer appeal. I like you said, we can never get more than 3 or 4 games in a row from, the Time Lord until he's out again. So I don't think he's some kind of guy you have to, as a must roster for the rest of the season. It's just but you can't ignore what he does. The guy's elite in terms of, rebounds, blocks, steals, everything when he's out there, but he's never going to play more than 20 minutes a night. We just know that he's capped at that. So it's not like he's a must pick up or anything.
Yeah, and of those 4 games, he does there is a back-to-back tonight and tomorrow, so he's gonna play. He's gonna miss one of those, but it does fit that build super well, much better than Brandon Williams does, especially now that Nembhard's starting. So I suppose you can Bagley should still start again tonight with Sarr out.
Yeah.
So I'd probably lean towards dropping Brandon Williams.
All right, so there's a couple of Garland questions in here, so I'll bring them both up. What do we project Garland to average rest of season in a points league? And where's the other one? And here's the other one. What's Garland's rest of season value, punting assists, looking for a target that contributes well? So I guess, broadly speaking, what do we see as Darius Garland's ceiling this season? It's been, we haven't seen a lot of him, obviously, with the injury and then the re-injury. I don't know. I don't have him anywhere. I didn't draft him anywhere. I probably have him. I'm not really in any points leagues, but in a category league, I have him. I don't know. I think he's probably a top 80, top 70 player. I'd love for him to be better, but I just don't. I don't think he can get there this season. So in a points league, I don't know, standard settings, I guess we're looking at him as probably a 35 point per game. Does that feel about right? As I said, I'm not in enough points leagues to actually.
Yeah, I'm not either.
No, so but in a category league, that's where I'd have him.
I'll take this just as a resident Cavs fan. They rested him last night. Even you could tell that they're going to rest him as much as possible on back-to-backs, and that really does cap his upside. And if he's only playing 30 minutes or so a night because they have a pretty decent rotation, and we're seeing the emergence of Jalen Tyson, these other guys, and still the Donovan Mitchell show too, right? It's still Donovan Mitchell's night out there. So I just don't know. He's like you said, he's a nice floor, maybe 14 and 6 a night, but I don't see the ceiling here for him. And if you're punting assists already, he's I don't know if he's the best fit because he's an assist guy, but I don't know. I was kind of hopeful about Garland when we started the year. Maybe he was a good buy low because of the injury, but he can't stay on the floor, and they make no effort to get him out there. They're just really taking it easy on him. So I think he's pretty low upside, high floor kind of guy right now.
I liked drafting him because I thought, hey, I'll just wait a little bit, and then when he comes back, he'll be good. But then he's already missed a bunch of time since then, sitting back to backs and played a ton of minutes. I'm still holding out hope that at some point he's playing a regular workload. And in that case, he's going to be really good. But maybe that doesn't happen. Maybe that doesn't happen for a while. So it's tough to be super optimistic.
I'll just do this one quickly. How many centers do we run in a 4-punt build? This is Hinny Mini. Has 6 centers currently. Wemby, Gobert, Klingon, Kalkbrenner, Huff, and Cornette. Should I drop any and who? Look, I would say 6 is about your max. I have 6, I think, centers in, and maybe I have 7 because I have 1 on an IR spot. Of those names there, I'd hold Wemby, Gobert, Klingon, Kalkbrenner. I'd be okay treating Huff and, well, Cornet, obviously, you treat him as someone who's expendable once Wemby's back. Huff, he's probably must roster at the moment, but who's to know what happens in Indiana in a week or 2 weeks.
You
Rob
talk
Williams.
nice about Huff now. Huff's our guy. Let's come on. You don't speak Huff's name in vain, but I agree. Yeah, Cornet's been garbage, and Huff Huff has been really good, man. The blocks and the threes, and he's really up playing Isaiah Jackson. I would call him must roster. I really would.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think he is at the moment. It's sort of one of those situations where you just reevaluate on a weekly basis because for whatever reason, if they move Isaiah Jackson back into the starting lineup, I hope they don't.
Right.
But you just don't know what's going on there. Rob Williams, like we said, I'd treat him as a streamer on favourable weeks. Goga, I'm not that interested in Goga this season. So I'm okay with 6, and maybe you treat one of them as a streamer. All right, let's we got here. Here's a name we haven't heard from for a while.
Ooh.
What are our thoughts on the return of DeAnthony Melton on the Warriors? How involved will he be with this team? Who wants to take that one?
No, that's you.
I haven't thought about DeAnthony Melton, so I don't really have too many thoughts. I can try and give you a few, but they're going to be very fresh thoughts. I don't think involved enough to be worth rostering in a 12-team league. I think he definitely, there was a point in time where DeAnthony Melton was like a fantasy stud, but I think it's been a few years. And who knows? It's also the Warriors, so maybe he'll have a couple good games. Steve Kerr will put him into the starting lineup, say, hey, this is our starting lineup for the foreseeable future, and then he'll get benched in 2 games. Like, it's the combination of injury history with Steve Kerr coaching with he's just aging. I just don't feel super optimistic that DeAnthony Melton's worth rostering in 12-team leagues.
Yeah, there's just too many pieces here. You mentioned it. Like, you really can't trust anybody in Golden State outside of Steph and Jimmy Butler. Like, none of them are really that worth it because you just don't know the minutes. You don't know how it's going to spread out every night. Who's playing what night, who's not. It's a bit of a mess. I tend to agree. I don't think there's anything to get that excited about. Once upon a time, like you said, Noah, DeAnthony Melton was a fun asset with the defensive stats and threes but I think those days are long gone.
Yeah. Too many mouths to feed there for me. Rest of season outlook on Ryan Nembhard. So this obviously links into the Brandon Williams situation. Nembhard, is it 3 games that he started now? 3 in a row. And yesterday obviously had that career best performance. 10 assists, 28 points. Did he have 27? Something like
28 and 10, yeah.
28 and 10. Didn't have any steals, but look, he played heavy minutes. But I do think, you need to obviously look at every performance in isolation. And Brandon Williams he came into the game under an injury cloud, so we don't know if he was 100%. Nembhard was simply shooting the lights out. I think he went 11 of 13 from the field or something like that. So is he ever going to do that again? Potentially not. So I do think that there's going to be some overreaction to yesterday's performance. That's not saying that you shouldn't go and take a flyer on him and pick him up if you've got an empty roster spot. But I don't think he's going to be this sort of league-changing player. I'd go and grab him. Would I don't know. Would I have him over Brandon Williams? It makes me sad that Brandon Williams he hasn't been phased out, but he's been pushed down a little bit. Although I am glad that it was D'Angelo Russell who moved out of the rotation and not Brandon Williams. What do you think about Ryan Nembhard? Are we picking him up? Do we think that he starts until Kyrie comes back?
For the steals aspect of this, he has a grand total of 1 career steal, so I'm not going to rely on him to get any steals, but we'll see. I think at this point, like, I picked him up in a league. He is worth rostering to me. Does he start until Kyrie returns? If Kyrie returns this season, is Dallas going to force him to play when they can maybe improve their lottery odds if they're not really close to the play-in picture? 3 weeks ago, we said, hey, it looks like Brandon Williams can start for the rest of the season. Before that, it was like, hey, D'Angelo Russell maybe. And then start of the season, it was, no, Cooper Flagg's playing point guard this year. So it's just been like a revolving door there at point guard. So maybe we get 2 weeks of Ryan Nembhard starting, and then it's back to Brandon Williams. Maybe Jaden Hardy gets a turn. I don't know. But I think that I would be rostering him at this point. Am I super optimistic that he is going to be the starting point guard for the rest of the year?
No, I agree. I do think he is the most natural kind of pass first point guard of all those guys that they've tried,
sure.
and offers some assists. I don't think he's going to score like this. 28 points is an outlier, but I think he could be a 6-7 assist guy if he's getting regular minutes and playing in the pick and roll of AD. What happens if they trade AD and it's just him and Cooper Flagg and a bunch of scrubs? Like, it could be uglier, but he's really just more of an efficient guy for points, assists. He's not going to do a lot of steals, but I don't know. He brings a little more organization to their offense. Brandon Williams is a super athletic and good defender, but Nembhard's just a solid, steady kind of point guard. So it's just nice speculative ad. I think keep your expectations low, but just ride him while he's hot.
If I can add in one more Nembhard thought real quick. He did in college, like he was obviously an elite assist guy, but he was actually a pretty good steals guy in college. So does that necessarily mean it's going to translate to the NBA? No, but he was able to get steals in college. So maybe it does. And we just haven't seen it yet. Maybe it'll happen with more minutes.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
All right. Are we trading LaMelo and Nickeil Alexander-Walker for Trae Young in a points league? My initial thoughts are probably not.
Interesting. Go ahead, Noah.
No, you go ahead. You seem more confident in your thoughts.
No, it's hard because I'm not a LaMelo guy and I'm not a Trae Young guy. But if you can get rid of LaMelo and upgrade to Trae Young and know that Trae Young's going to stay healthy and productive the rest of the year, then the gap having to give up Nickeil, who obviously is the guy who suffers the most when Trae comes back, it's kind of makes sense to do that. I think that would be an upgrade if and only if Trae, comes back at his typical, kind of first round value. So I think it's worth a risk probably.
I think that this is very fair for a 2-for-1 deal. I'm pretty high on Nickeil Alexander-Walker rest of the season, even with Trae Young coming back. We look at the minutes that he was playing before the injury, it was still around 30 minutes per game. And I think he's played too well for them to completely just bump him down to 20 minutes per game.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'm starting to think that it could be Dyson Daniels that takes more of a hit when Trae Young comes back, and then Nickeil Alexander-Walker, maybe Dyson continues to start, but maybe he loses out on minutes so that Nickeil Alexander-Walker can continue to play because he's better on defense than Trae and better on offense than Dyson. They kind of need him out there. So honestly, if I'm able to trade LaMelo and somebody else for Trae Young, I'd rather do that than give up Nickeil Alexander-Walker. But it is probably one where maybe if I have Trae Young, I would actually be fine taking the 2 in this trade, even though LaMelo's always high ceiling, low floor.
Yeah, a lot of variables. I think my worry is that what kind of a hit does Trae Young take, given how well the Hawks have played without him? Jalen Johnson, his assist numbers are up. Dyson Daniels, Nickeil, and we knew this coming into the season. We knew that this was the most talented roster that Trae Young has ever been a part of. So he wasn't fantastic to start the season, but do they start playing him off the ball a little bit more and to try and keep the ball in Jalen Johnson's hands and utilizing Dyson as a bit of a playmaker as well? So I think there's, as you said, I think it's pretty fair. And obviously a lot of it hinges on the LaMelo injury front, which is never a positive topic of discussion. What do we think of Garland and OG Anunoby for Jalen Duren in an 8-team league? So which side would you rather have there, Garland and OG or Duren? I think I'd go with the...
I'll take Duren.
Take Duren too.
I think so, yeah. I think in an 8-team league, I think I'd go Duren. He's slowed down a little bit of late. He had that red-hot start, but I still think I'd go with Duren there. If you can pick up players like Suggs off the waiver wire, then I'm okay with that. All right, we did the Nembhard. Are we dropping Mathurin for Kelly Oubre? For me, this is a no.
Mm-mm. No.
I would be. Not just because you have too many Pacers. I don't think that's a good reason to drop Mathurin for Kelly Oubre.
No. Would you trade? Oh, that's an interesting one. Would you trade Embiid for Derik Queen in a 10-team league?
That's tough. That's really tough.
Yeah.
I wish we had any indication of what Embiid's health really is. I wish we really knew. Like how many games are you going to get between now and March?
Well, what have we got about 60 games left? Is that right? We're about 20 games into the season.
Can you get 40 games? Can you get 40 games or not?
From Embiid? Well, they've probably got at least 10 back-to-backs remaining, I would say, something in that range. So there's 10 games that he doesn't play straight away. So we're down to 50. I don't know. I don't think he plays 40. I think maybe 30.
So he's out tonight. This isn't part of a back-to-back, but it's against Washington. Right. They have a back-to-back later on. Is this going to be like hey, Embiid's only going to play against good teams? Like, we think we can beat Washington without him, so we're not even going to put him out there?
That's what I mean. Like, he's resting games that aren't back-to-backs, and then he's taking 5 or 6 games off in a row. Honestly, here's the thing. The real question here is, like, do we think Derik Queen is playing 35 minutes a night come March and April when he could be a real league winner for you down the stretch? And if he is, then it's a no-brainer. I would take Queen, I think.
Yeah, and then that's the same thing for Embiid. Like, he didn't look good against the Hawks. He hasn't, like, he played 30 minutes, but sat the second overtime. Sitting now, not part of a back-to-back, maybe just because they got over the minutes limit that they were planning for. But like in March, is he playing a pretty consistent 30 minutes per game and looks good because they've rested him? He's just missing back-to-backs. And would you rather have that than Derik Queen? This is like the last question I was prepared for like a Joel Embiid for Derik Queen trade straight up. Just like
it's pretty compelling.
Yeah, it's interesting.
All right. I did see this one actually, and I've heard things. There have been light rumblings about AD to the Bulls, and he is from Chicago. I'm right in saying that. I know he has a big Chicago tattoo on his arm. So what does it look like with an AD Vooch front court, or or is Vooch part of this trade? I guess what do we think about AD going to the Bulls? I love it because I love AD. I have a soft spot for him. I know he's always injured and that sort of thing, but I think if you can keep that core at Chicago with Josh Giddey, Mattis Buzelis, some of their like younger pieces, Io DeSunmu, Trey Jones, I think Kobe. If you can keep those guys and just somehow manage to switch out Vooch for AD, if AD is willing to play center, that's the other question. He doesn't like playing center. I think that'd be super fun, but that's more just me thinking that would be very cool if he was playing for his hometown team and they play fast. So yeah, an AD Vooch front court it'd be something. Vooch is he's certainly not a strong defensive asset, but can stretch the floor a little bit. That'd be interesting as well. I mean, do you think that this AD to Chicago, is it more than a rumor? Have you heard anything? I've read a few things, but haven't heard anything concrete.
I've seen a lot of the trade machine stuff people are having fun with. But I don't know how much of any substance there is to it. I do think that Vooch probably goes in any kind of trade. I don't think they are looking to pair them up together, like you mentioned. I think Vooch probably leaves in any kind of AD scenario. So the likelihood of him playing center with all the other guards and wings and stuff that they have, I think they'd much rather have AD at center and more, playmakers out there with him than pair them up, right?
Yeah, every mock trade and report that I'm quickly looking for has basically said Vooch would be involved in that trade, and then there's some that are saying like Kobe White would be involved. I think it was more of like proposed trades. So it's, I don't know. To me, if I'm trading, and like maybe this is a lesson from every failed, hey, we're going to trade draft picks for a star and then not win trade that's happened. Like, do you feel like your team would be the best in the East? Like, do you think that Chicago would be able to win the East with Josh Giddey, Modest Buzelis, say they keep Kobe White, Anthony Davis at center? Like, I don't think that that's the best team in the East. And the East is a little bit more open this year, but like, do you think you can beat OKC? Like, I don't know. That's probably the draft picks, unless it doesn't take much draft capital to make it happen, then that's interesting. And I do think it makes them more competitive in the East, but I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it all depends on what the market for AD is out there. You know, what teams are willing to give up assets for a guy. But basically, everybody crushed Dallas for paying too much for him in the first place. What team's going to want to give up a lot of draft capital to get him instead of like some expiring contracts and a couple good young players? Right. I feel like it's going to be something like that than like a bunch of picks. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, a Jay Huff question. So, Dan, you can field this one. Would you have Jay Huff over Ryan Kalkbrenner? 4-center limit, unfortunately. That is unfortunate. Trying to decide who's the better fourth-string center of those two. That's
I do. Question. I have it because of the threes. I mean, the blocks are fantastic. I know Kalkbrenner's been a good shot blocker too, and the field goal percentage has been incredible. But he's really stuck in the timeshare there with Musso, and they really don't seem like they want to play more than 24 minutes a night. Jay Huff has been starting and pushing up into the high 20s now. Like, I know that can change, but I don't know. I just watched him last night. He's fresh in my head. He's been aggressive, just dropping threes, playing really great defense. On a permanent basis, he's been incredible, right? If he can sustain even 25 minutes a game, like he's top 50, top 60, you know, like potentially. Kalkbrenner just seems like a little bit of a lower ceiling to me.
Yep, I think that's fair.
Yeah, I'm the Jay Huff pessimist. So I don't mean to, because I know, and I think the Old Man Squad's network's official stance on Jay Huff is pro Jay Huff. So I'm the opposite there.
Have you guys seen the videos where he can only dunk back? He can only dunk backwards. He can only reverse dunk.
I've seen a lot of
He can't dunk forwards, but you know what? It still counts for 2 points, and he can drill threes. So, anyways, yeah, I know there's definitely some Jay Huff issues there, but I still think like right now the way he's going, and he's got the upside there.
All right, so I mean, a Colin Gillespie question. So, is it worth? They don't have a good schedule this week, but is it worth losing that streaming spot or giving up a couple of streaming spots to roster Gillespie? So, I guess we're thinking beyond this week. Do we think Gillespie is worth holding in a 10-team league?
I mean, Devin Booker got hurt last night, guys, right? I mean, we can't.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep, he did. There's been no update, I don't believe, unless something's come out in the last little bit. But I said this on my show that I recorded yesterday. Devin Booker does have a history of soft tissue injuries. He's had some stuff in the past. So,
aren't they usually like in December as well? I think I saw a tweet about that like 7 of the past 9 seasons he's had a soft tissue injury in December and January.
Okay. That might be right. Yeah.
Which is just crazy.
Someone's dug into that data, so I won't disagree. Gillespie's been really good. I do know like that they moved him back onto the bench as soon as Grayson Allen came back. So obviously I don't think they view him as a permanent starter. I think once they get all their healthy bodies back, he will come off the bench. But he's been fantastic. I mean, I've picked him up in 2 or 3 teams, and I'm starting him. So I would say at the moment, especially with this Booker, if we get word that Booker is going to miss 2 or 3 weeks here with this injury, then I'd certainly be holding or going and picking up Colin Gillespie.
Yeah, he hit 8 threes the other night, right? 8 threes. Yeah. I mean, he's got a spot in this rotation. A 10-team makes it tough because like that's a shallow league. If they're healthy and he's on the bench in a 10-team, I'd say he's not must roster. But in 12 teams or bigger, like he's must own right now. He's been awesome, and I think he's got a pretty substantial role even off the bench who knows when they'll get Jalen Green and Booker and all these guys in the lineup at the same time.
Yeah, I think there's just enough injuries going on here for Gillespie to be worth it, because he's been really, really good, but Grace Allen comes back and he immediately goes to the bench. So like Devin Booker being hurt, Jalen Green being hurt, I think it would be worth it. Just until they get back at least.
So we had another Kalkbrenner question. Where are we? So more of just our general thoughts on Kalkbrenner. Do we think that he's still a must roster player in a 10-team league? I do. I think it is close. Like I think Thunder Dan said, his ceiling I think is a little bit capped because he is in a bit of a timeshare with Moussa Diabate, and they seem to be happy to sort of flip and flop between the two of them as in terms of who's playing the most minutes. Some nights it'll be Diabate, some nights it'll be Kalkbrenner. Kalkbrenner's overall value is built on the rebounds are okay, but really on two categories. That's blocks and field goal percentage. Mm-hmm. So is that enough? That's sort of what it would come down to for me. If they're the categories you're chasing, then probably yes. If you don't necessarily need blocks, then I'd be okay to move off him, I think.
I agree.
Yeah.
Is Ryan Rowlands a drop with Kevin Porter Jr. back? No.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
Okay, that's good. Nice quick one. We did that one. Is Tyson, I'm assuming this is Jalen Tyson. Is Jalen Tyson a hold when players come back in a 9-cat league? I don't think so. You're the Cavs guy, though, so...
I don't know. I just got done watching this highlight film from last night, right? 27, 11, and 4. He is here, and here's the thing. I don't know. Jared Allen's out for a week. Darius Garland's been in and out. They really do have a hole at the 3, like on the wing. And DeAndre Hunter is that guy if they're all healthy. He's starting there, but Jalen Tyson could do some stuff that even DeAndre Hunter can't do in terms of getting to the hoop. He's not just a catch and shoot guy. He does a little bit of everything. I think it's very marginal, like 12 teams versus 10 team. I just would say don't drop him until you have to drop him, because the guy's really good and he's really coming into his own, and he can do a little everything. He's got steals, blocks. He's a really nice 9-cat player with minutes, and maybe he can get 25 minutes when they're all healthy and still hang on to like 12-team value. That's all.
And I would add in that saying that the Cavs team will be fully healthy is maybe maybe
who knows?
Being a little bit too optimistic there, because he only starts when players are hurt, but he's only come off the bench 5 times this year because he missed time as well. So, yeah, I really like Jalen Tyson in Dynasty Leagues. I think eventually he does take over for DeAndre Hunter in that starting spot. Probably not going to be this season, but definitely has that type of upside, and it's good to see him playing well when he gets to start. So hang on to him as long as you can.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's fair. There's a couple. I've got his game log here, and obviously, as we said, there haven't been many games where they've had everyone healthy, but some of those, like he played 23 minutes in a game and had 7 points, 4 rebounds, and nothing else. But then majority of the games he's playing 28 plus minutes. So I think this is the situation. You hold him now, even when they get all their players back. I'd wait 2-3 games because there's a chance then that Garland's going to sit out or Allen gets injured again, or I wouldn't just drop him straight away as soon as you hear that they've got a healthy roster, because it just feels like a season where they're always going to have at least one player out.
I'll be curious to see if they give up on the Twin Towers thing. And they've been rumored to be shopping Jared Allen the last 2 seasons. If they trade Jared Allen and decide to go Mobley at the 5, DeAndre Hunter at the 4, and Tyson at the 3, and go super athletic kind of lineup instead of the Twin Tower thing, that could be interesting development for later in the year too. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, and that was actually why I was quite high on Mobley coming into the year, is because I did think that with Larry Nance coming in and just it would giving them some options, and would they look to play Mobley at centre a bit more, which would increase his block numbers, and yeah, Jared Allen to me he's a good player, but he's plateaued. He is who he is at this point. I don't think there's any upside with him.
Yeah.
Should I trade Denny Avdia and Zach Edey for Giannis in a 10-team league? My other bigs are Mark Williams, Chet, and Kalkbrenner. Trade Denny and Edey for Giannis.
If as long as you're punting field free throw percentage, yeah, I would do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah,
I think it's
Giannis. Yeah, I think you have to.
Yeah. I mean, if you already have Mark Williams, Chet, and Cocky, you have that. You know, you can afford to trade Edey and go get a top 5 guy in the punt free throw build. Do it.
Yep.
All right. Here's I can field this one. In my punt build, am I holding Trey Jones, Peyton Watson, Chris Dunn, Jalen Tyson, Ron Holland? I've been iffy in steals. Peyton Watson, yes. Jalen Tyson, yes. Chris Dunn, like I said, I held him for a week. He did nothing. I dropped him, and he had that game where he had 4 steals. That always happens with him. Dunn, I would treat him more as a streamer. Ron Holland, I'm not that interested in him. I know he was better yesterday. I think he had 17 points, but prior to that, he'd barely been in the rotation. So I'm not that interested in Ron Holland. Trey Jones is intriguing. He keeps finding a way to play minutes. So Peyton Watson, Jalen Tyson, I would hold. Trey Jones, I don't mind holding him. Chris Dunn, streamer. Ron Holland, I'm not really interested in at the moment.
Trey Jones is really nice in those punt builds, by the way. I mean, I think he's got some value there if he can hang on to those minutes. But we'll see what happens when they're all healthy and they stop resting Kobe White.
All right, so a dynasty, another Nembhard. Let's assume this is Ryan Nembhard, not Andrew Nembhard. Where are his in a dynasty league? How high have we got him? No, like has this last week increased his dynasty value significantly, or is this more of just a right place or right place at the right time kind of situation?
I think it helps his value. I don't think that he's a top 250 dynasty player, and that's just a random frame of reference. Maybe cracks a top 300. If we just got to look at it as what it is, like he's playing because Kyrie Irving isn't hurt or isn't healthy. He is hurt. Like at this time next season, if Kyrie Irving's healthy, is Ryan Nembhard part of the rotation, or is he a backup? Is he even playing? Like you get some value out of him this year. Maybe he ends up becoming a rotation backup point guard in the NBA. I don't think that, Andrew Nembhard is really good, so therefore Ryan Nembhard has to become really good. He can be a long-term, solid, reliable backup point guard that has some nice stretches, but I don't see him as being this like excellent, like buy now before he pops dynasty asset.
Okay. Interesting one here. Thoughts on Max Reynaud from the Kings? Josh Lloyd seems to like him. I know I've heard Josh talking about him. And yeah, I don't mind him. I picked him up in a couple of leagues because I thought that, hey, we don't need to play Drew Eubanks as our starting center. Let's get Reynaud in there and just see what he can do. He's had some foul concerns, which not surprising for a rookie big man. I think that they should be starting him at center until Sabonis is back. It's not like they're winning with their current lineup. So I don't mind picking him up and just holding him to see what happens over the next few games. If he does move into a starting lineup and plays 26 minutes, I think he could have some value. Where are you guys on Reynaud?
I liked him a lot coming out of the draft, and it's good to see him get some minutes out there. He's definitely going to bring more upside than Drew Eubanks, and he's played 22, 23 minutes the last 2 nights. So there's some signs that are pointing in the right direction. Definitely a speculative ad in deeper leagues. I like him. I think he's worth a pickup for now.
Yeah, I really liked him ahead of the draft. I think it was the Angle Fantasy Basketball guys that introduced me to Reynaud, as they tend to do. They introduced me to really good prospects all the time. And I really liked him. I thought of him as like a top 25 guy. And then when the Kings drafted him, I was a little bit less optimistic. But now he's been able to get minutes. And I think he is a really good fantasy basketball player. I question what his role looks like when Sabonis gets back, though.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming this is a fantasy trade related question, not a real life, because I haven't heard anything about this in real life. So fantasy thoughts on Cat being traded for KD and Michael Porter. I mean, is that a fair trade? I think it's okay.
Seems fair. I honestly might take the KD MPJ side, to be honest.
Yeah, I think you're getting an upgrade from KD to Cat, and then Michael Porter Jr. is going to give you a lot of value right now, but come fantasy playoff time, like seriously doubt he's playing. So it's probably a good idea to make this trade, especially if you're doing pretty well in the standings.
All right, let's try and move through some of these. We touched on Keyshawn George earlier, close to dropping. I wouldn't drop him. I'd be holding him, unless you maybe in an 8-team league or a 10 potentially, but standard kind of a league, I'd be holding Keyshawn George. Okay, here's an interesting one. Do we value Miles Turner and Jaren Jackson Jr. around the same? So do we see them as comparable if we're looking at overall fantasy value? JJJ has been worse. Well, I'd argue Turner's been pretty bad too.
Yeah.
He's historically been better than Turner. He has. I think I probably have them in the similar range. I think both of them have been pretty underwhelming, I think.
Kingy, what did you tweet out the other day about JJJ's blocks? I saw that tweet.
Yeah, I think the last 2 weeks or something, he's averaging 0.2 blocks per game. It's just...
Is it like... Here's my question with you guys. I've never really understood JJJ. Is it just an effort thing? Is he just not care? Like, he just doesn't give a crap or what? Because when he wants to play and goes after it, he puts up stats, but I feel like Ja's not in there. The whole team's a little bit checked out. And Jaren Jackson just is a head case. I don't really understand it, because that's like effort. Defense is effort. Like if you're not blocking shots and you're a guy that once averaged 3 blocks a game and you can't even block a half a shot a game, like to me, it's just like you don't care on defense. Like you're not even trying. So I don't know if that doesn't really answer your question, but he should be better than Miles Turner, but right now he's not. I don't know. They're both underperforming in a big way. At least Jackson gives you some points. He's scoring the basketball at least. Like Miles Turner's not really doing anything. I saw someone tweet out that Miles Turner's basically giving you Huff stats right now, that Indiana upgraded by letting Turner walk for all that money and getting the same production from Huff, right?
Yep.
With Jaren Jackson, a couple things that may impact it there, like having Zach Edey down low, like how many block opportunities does he get? Because Zach Edey has been racking up the blocks. Jaren Jackson also is just not a good rebounder, which kind of is frustrating that he's not rebounding or blocking shots. But I'm wondering how much more is it, hey, you can't afford to hunt blocks because we need you on offense. No John Morant, we need you to be Desmond Bane's not here. We need you to shoot more shots. So maybe that's impacting things. He's just being less aggressive. But he also just, for a while, has had a generationally bad whistle for a player that has the defensive pedigree that he has. He doesn't get the benefit of the doubt the way other players who have that reputation of being an elite defender have. Just a number of factors there. I still think he is a really good shot blocker. Hopefully that is something that he's able to turn around.
Yeah, they've both been disappointing. I mean, in answering the question, yes, I think I would have them in the same sort of range. And I do think once the Grizzlies get healthy, we see more of the Jaren Jackson that we've come to expect, where he's not having to do as much offensively, so he can do a little bit more on the other end. But as you said, Thunder Dan, I mean, he's part of this is it just attitude? Is he just fed up with Memphis and the fact that they have this roster which should be winning games, but they're not? Potentially that is the situation that's going on. And I think he was dealing with a toe injury, so maybe that's bothering him as well. I don't know. We did that one. What's this one mean? Zach Edey rest of season value on a guard build. Well, not much, I guess. If you're in a guard build, I'm assuming that means you're punting something like blocks and rebounds. Then Edey doesn't have much value at all because that's where his value comes from.
Right.
Oh, okay. Here's one. Aaron Gordon for Khalil Ware in a 12-team league.
Do either of them even need to be rostered in 12-team leagues right now? That's my question. Aaron Gordon was going great before he got hurt, but he's out a while. And Ware's playing back to 20 minutes off the bench now that Miami's fully healthy. I think they're both pretty fringe.
I'd rather have Aaron Gordon, especially if I can keep him in an IL spot until he gets back. But yeah, Ware's role's been inconsistent for a while, and it's finally starting to go really bad recently. So I'm sure he'll have a couple other solid stretches. But Aaron Gordon's way more consistent when he's healthy.
I just hope that Denver doesn't put Peyton Watson back in the bag after Gordon comes back, because Peyton Watson has been awesome, and he deserves to be out there.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Ware's because I don't have Ware anywhere, so I'm just looking at his.
Yeah, he was going strong for 2 weeks, but then
Miami,
all of a sudden Miami got Hero back, and they got everybody in the lineup. And last night or 2 nights ago, all the starters played 30 minutes, and all the bench guys played 18 tops, and he was he just didn't get the minutes. I don't think he's going to get the minutes.
I think it'll be, assuming they stay healthy, it'll be a situation where occasionally he will. If they are up against Cleveland, for example, who are running the two bigs, then maybe they run with Bam and Khalil together. So there will be games from time to time where he plays 30 minutes and gives you those numbers. But then, as you said, in that last game, he played 16 minutes and he didn't score. And that's not a rosterable player. So, yeah, it could get to the point where he is just a sort of a streaming option based on the opposition. All right, how long? Okay, we've got about 5 minutes. Let's find a good one in here. You talked about this one a little bit. We don't think it'll happen this season. Will Jalen Tyson replace DeAndre Hunter as the starting small forward if and when the Cavs are healthy? I think he probably should be their fifth starter, because I think DeAndre Hunter as a sixth man is very, very useful. He's not wasted as a starter, but I think he could have more value to the team as the sixth man. Do you think that they will sort of come around and start Jalen Tyson there, or are they just going to run with Hunter?
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he does offer a lot more flexibility. Can guard more guys on defense, and Hunter, like you mentioned, I think Hunter is ideal as the sixth man off the bench. It'd be better for both of their fantasy values, probably, for Hunter to have more usage of the second unit. But again, I think Noah pointed out, when is this fictional scenario when all the Cleveland guys are healthy at the same time going to happen? Yeah. Because they seem very inclined to, as long as they have 3 or 4 of the main guys, just roll with them any given night and play all these, they do have the nice depth, which gives them ability to do that. So
how does Max Strus eventually impact Jalen Tyson too?
I don't even know. Yeah. People forget about Max Strus. They're Sam Merrill's hurt right now. They're paying a bunch of money. There's a bunch of guys that aren't even in the rotation right now who probably deserve minutes. It's I don't know. It's a bit of a mess when they're all healthy, but we'll see what happens.
Who are we streaming for assists tonight? I've just pulled up the games for tonight. I'm just having a look at who's actually playing. Vince
Williams, yeah, or Cam Spencer if he's not.
Or Cam Spencer, yep, either of those guys. Who else have we got?
Let me pull the games quick.
I guess Jose Alvarado, if you happen to catch him on a game where he plays 30 minutes.
Let's see here.
No one on the Knicks.
I think Vince Williams is probably the best name there.
Probably the best one. I guess if you're looking at a team where there could be some streaming, go to the Warriors because Steph Curry's not playing. So maybe you get lucky and you get 4 or 5 assists from someone like a Moses Moody or Brandon Pajemski.
I got one deep league only, Jamal Shaheed from Toronto.
Yep. He could.
He's averaging like five a game or so, I think, off the bench. But he's been cold lately too, so I don't know.
They're probably the guys I'd be looking at. If Keyshawn George doesn't play, maybe we get a little bit more of like a Bub Carrington or something like that. Yeah,
that's just what I was going to say. Yeah, Bub, because Trey Johnson's out, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. All right. No, punting. So he's just going back to that Giannis trade question, which was Giannis for, was it Denny Avdia and Edie not punting free throws. So
I don't think it matters. I still think you do it.
Still take Giannis. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yes. So this is just a general question. If you want to try Dynasty next year, do we host leagues like the FBI? Yeah, FBI hosts a lot of Dynasty leagues. Matt Lawson, I know he was running those. I don't know how much he still has in terms of a hands-on role with those leagues, but I definitely know that FBI do host quite a lot of Dynasty leagues. So just hit up B-Dub. He'll be able to tell you at Hidden Upside on Twitter. He'll be able to give you the full rundown of what they run. Is Mather in a hold? Yep.
Yes.
Huff, here we go. Another Jay Huff question. Jay Huff or Derik Queen in a 9-cat head-to-head league?
Derik
Probably Queen. Yeah, Queen just does way more across the board.
Okay. Zach Edey, a top 40 player rest of season?
Yeah, that's a little high. I will say this. Zach Edey has been awesome, and I will take my L on him. I didn't think he would be this good. If you watch him play, he is playing hard. He is hustling. He's got himself into great condition. And by the way, I'll just promote my own little, sports betting stuff here. Over 11.5 rebounds tonight. He's got, 15 or 16 in the last 4 games in a row.
Yep.
But anyways, I will say Zach Edey has a nice ceiling. Maybe not top 40, top 60? 60, somewhere in there?
I think top 60 is pretty safe. Top 40 would be a stretch, but I don't think it's like outside of his range of outcomes. Edey's a guy that I've been a little bit lower on, but I liked this season. And it's tough because he's feasting on the Pelicans with, Yves Missi, Derik Queen, and the Kings with no Sabonis. So it's Maxime Reynaud and Drew Eubanks. And like, those are games that, like, yes, he should just dominate. But then I want to see him in some tougher matchups, which he went against the Clippers. He still grabbed 19 rebounds and had 3 blocks against Zubats, which was great, but he only had 5 points. So I think he's going to dominate when he needs or when he can, and it's going to be still pretty solid against better centers. So
yeah, the fact that he plays alongside a power forward who doesn't like to rebound in Jaren Jackson, that helps because he basically has the run of the key. And if you're keeping track, he's against Luke Cornett and the San Antonio Spurs tonight. So he should be able to grab.
He's going to eat
there.
Stack it up.
Yes. Gosh, it's going to be
Is Wendell Carter?
For 20.
He could go for 20. He could indeed. Is Wendell Carter a drop in 12-team leagues? I don't think so.
Unless I miss it.
I mean, is it fair to say like maybe he's not a drop, but is he definitely a hold? Like, is that?
I guess while Paolo's out, when Paolo gets back, it could get interesting, right? We have to see what they do with those.
Yeah,
they go small, but right now, I'm looking at his game log, right? I guess he had a couple stinkers, but like he's still been pretty good.
Yeah, I think he's been fine. I was just checking game logs and things because I was just wondering if anything had changed in the last week. But not really. I mean, his offense has been a little bit inconsistent. He had an 8-point game, a 7-point game, but the rebounds are there. defensive numbers are serviceable. So, no, I think he's still hold. Turner, don't drop. We'll just do a couple more. We did an Edie one, so I won't do him again. The question was, do we think he can finish top 30? I think that's best case.
Yeah, that would be absolute best case.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is McBride a good streaming consideration considering the Knicks play a back-to-back tonight and tomorrow? Yeah, I think he's a good streaming consideration anyway.
He's on fire right now. I think, like 4 or 5 threes a game the last three games in a row.
Yep, I'd be streaming him in. Okay, let's maybe finish on this one because this is a situation that we've sort of been monitoring in Detroit. Do we think that the Pistons could continue to start Dennis Jenkins even when Duncan Robinson is back? So Jenkins obviously had that huge breakout for about 4 games, I think it was, where he just sort of blew us all away. And then, as expected, when they got healthy, he was almost out of the rotation. But then they've sort of gone, hang on, this guy is pretty good. We might need him on the floor a bit more. And then he started. Do you think that they bring Duncan Robinson off the bench? I mean, Duncan Robinson was there for his floor spacing, obviously, to help Saar and help Cade go to work inside. Jenkins provides that to some degree as well. I think Robinson will continue to start, but do either of you guys think there's a chance Jenkins starts?
I don't. I think Robinson is exactly what they need, floor spacing. They need a shooter out there with all those guys. Jenkins is a nice player. I just don't with like Jaden Ivey back and all there's just it's so many guys in that rotation. Heck, Jaden Ivey's not even getting minutes right now. I think it's a pretty tough ask. I think, Duncan Robinson is perfect for what they need on the wing with a shooter there. So
yeah. Oh, sorry. Before we jump out, I just saw Zion Williamson is out for at least 3 weeks. So Noah and I were talking about this, I think, before we came on air, and the fact how frustrated. Like, we joke about these guys that are injured all the time, but I would assume that he just is so frustrated with his body and the fact that because this is a new injury. This is not a hamstring. I mean, obviously they're close, they're related. Is it sort of a compensation injury? Maybe. I'm no medical expert, but he will be reevaluated in 3 weeks. So our Derik Queen sort of questions, this helps.
Don't bury the lead. It's Sadiq Bey season.
Sadiq Bey. There you go.
He's been amazing. We'll look at his last 5 or 6 games.
Yeah, he has been.
Yep. I think this does help. It probably makes Sadiq Bey a must-roster player now.
Absolutely.
And Derik Queen, we just hold him. Yeah.
Is there an update on Jordan Poole? Can I ask you that? Is there an update on Jordan Poole? Because he's getting ready to join my cut article this week. If not, because I'm tired of waiting for him. I don't know about you guys.
I haven't seen one.
No, I think he's close. I think maybe he was sort of being reevaluated or
because that kind of changes things too. If Zion is going to be out and Poole's coming back, maybe you do hold on to Poole a little longer. I was just getting a little frustrated with the lack of movement there and the fact that they want to go Fears but that's another new wrinkle too. New Orleans just gets more interesting by the day.
All right, I think that'll bring us to an end. That's over an hour. Noah's been on for 2 straight hours answering questions. I'll let you go and help your family out. Dan probably has better things to do as well. And I'm going to go and have some breakfast and get ready for work. I've got a Christmas party today, so I only have to work 2 hours and then I'm off to drink and eat for the rest of the day. So
let's go.
Looking forward to that. Thank you, everyone. Thunder Dan, what's happening in your world? Where can people find you and your stuff?
Hey, check me out on at Thunder Dan DFS. Got some prop bets out for tonight, including Sadiq Bey and Zach Edey and some of the guys we talked about. Cam Spencer, go check it out. And otherwise, the drop list coming out Wednesday or Thursday every week on Old Man Sports, and waiver wire content for season long, just as we've been doing all season long. So thanks so much, guys. Loved it. Enjoyed it.
Thanks, Dan. And Noah, where are you? Where's your stuff?
Yeah, it's hasn't been there the past 2 weeks, but getting back to having content. Have a episode scheduled with Matt Lawson tomorrow to discuss his dynasty rankings. So hopefully we'll get that out, and then I'll be able to keep the dynasty shows coming after that. Don't know how consistently, but yeah, I generally tweet out the things I do, or retweet at least. So at NoRubin22 on socials.
All right, thanks, guys. I'll be back in 12-ish hours with the second mailbag for today, and then back on the weekend with the recap shows for Friday and Saturday. Thank you, everyone, for listening along. He is Thunder Dan. He is Noah Rubin. I am Adam King. Welcome to Stuff It. Thank you for listening to Stuff It. We are done.